What is up, guys? So today I'm going to break down my most recent short film, What Lies Between Us, shot by shot. I personally love watching when Netflix puts out these videos because as an aspiring director and filmmaker, I like to see the process that people go through, and I thought it would be extremely interesting, at least for me, because I shot this all in 48 hours, all by myself. So as you can imagine, I had to get a little creative. So let's jump right into it. The definition of a lie is when somebody is withholding the truth. It breaks trust, destroys relationships, and most importantly... Okay, right off the bat, I have something to say about this opening shot. It took me forever to get the camera angled the way that I wanted it to, because I had to go set the camera up in my grass in the front yard, then I had to run back, shoot the shot, and then run back and make sure that it was in focus, that it looked the way I wanted it to, and that you could see everything and everything was in frame and framed correctly, which was really difficult because I was, like I said, alone, and I was actually waving at nobody. Had to put on my acting skills a little bit there. But yeah, I'm just waving at the house across the street from me. I bet they think I'm crazy now. Next curiosity. Now, what do you do when the person you trust most in the world is caught? Second shot was really hard to get to because I had to rig my camera up on the railing and I didn't want it to be too close. So then I ended up having to put it in the bush, which was really interesting too. A lot of good stuff. I learned a lot of good stuff from doing this. Growing up, it was just me and my mom. I always asked her about my dad and she would just tell me sometimes it's best to leave well enough alone. Oh! This is a really good tip for people that don't know crap about lighting. Me. So I was recently this past semester on set for a short film, and I had the opportunity to light the back room that was going to be out of in the back focus of a shot. And I really kind of learned a little bit about lighting, but Venetian blinds is something that we used on set a lot to give it kind of you know, like the light shining through blinds. A lot of times they'll literally just have lights hung up behind just blinds on a C-stand, and they'll just use that to give it the effect. But I got lucky and I noticed that the light was hitting on the wall, so I honestly, since I was shooting during the day, I kind of just played off of the light for certain shots to give it the certain look that I wanted. Sorry, I just burped. I'm drinking coffee. It's gonna happen. That she was the only thing that I needed. Bullshit. Dolly zoom is so hard. I in no way did this perfect. I tried, but I like to challenge myself, and I wouldn't say this is the worst dolly zoom. I've seen worse on TV shows. These sequences of the matchbook and striking the thing was also really fun to do. I'll talk about the lighting of that whole scene that's kind of cut throughout the film at the end, but it is absolutely my favorite. I killed the lighting. I'm gonna have to pat myself on the back. The lighting in these shots is amazing, and I'll get into more of it at the end, but man, it looks so good, I have to say. She was hiding something big. Same with this shot. If you look closely, there's actually a flashlight underneath the bed that I kind of angled to give. I wanted, in certain shots, half of it to be more orangey and blue to kind of give it this split, you know, moody type lighting. So I wore that cream sweater for a reason, because I wanted the orange light to kind of get absorbed in my sweater. So anywhere I went was kind of a warmer, you know, warmer look of the film, and then the surrounding areas were more cool because it's kind of mysterious, blah, 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 you know, all the fun stuff. My grandma always told me, what you see, you shall find. I always thought she was crazy. I'm sorry, but the more I watch this, I cannot get past my hair. Because if you pay attention, I'm pointing out stuff that probably nobody noticed, or maybe you did. You're not supposed to do this because most of the time people don't notice your mistakes. But my hair on the side is sticking out in like strands because there's one shot in particular which I'll point out that I had to go back and forth like crawling on the floor, and so I was like starting to get sweaty. I kept wiping, like it was a whole thing. But I'll point the shot out. Well, I found. Now the only question is, what the hell do I... That birth certificate is courtesy of Google. You may notice that yes, I did fill in the birth certificate. It's not real. I know it's really hard to tell because the writing looks really professional and everything is filled out, but it is a fake birth certificate. It was actually really hard to find that. So shout out to all people that do props in the industry because it was hard. This shot where I'm laying against my back up against the bed and I'm about to throw the birth certificate and the files back into the safe was so hard to get. I changed my lens. Right now I'm on a 50. I changed my lens to, I believe, a 100 millimeter. So I was really, really, really tight, but that's what I wanted because I wanted it to look really crisp. I wanted the warm light right on my face and everything kind of cool that's out of focus. But it was so hard finding the camera placement where my head wasn't cut off. It gave me the right head space and where you could see enough of like me playing with the files, throwing, like it was just so much. I have at least 20 takes of this one shot, and that's why my hair looks like that, because I was crawling on the floor back and forth. Mind you, I'm in my parents' room, so everything is everywhere. I've turned it into a complete movie set and it's a mess, and I'm sweating and I can't get this one shot, and then I finally get it and I'm like, oh my, it's just, yeah, it was a lot. I'm assuming my mom lied to me because she knew if I find out, I wouldn't stop till I had all the answers. This is another one of my favorite shots where I'm opening the computer and the camera kind of moves from the keyboard lighting up to seeing the whole side of the computer screen. I actually had the camera in my hand. So I had what I have it on right now is a tripod. So I was holding the tripod and I was making sure that it was in focus, like checking, and I was moving it up, stopping it while I was moving the computer. It was really fun to actually come up with some of these shots, but having to do it on my own and make sure that you can't see the part of my body that's moving, but you still get the same effect, was interesting. A lot of these shots, I'm gonna be honest, I wrote the general shot list, but a lot of these, like I said, I played off of the lighting, I played off of just instinct with a lot of these, because some of the shots that I wrote down were not that good. So I really just have to go off like in the moment. I kind of really got into characters. So how would I want me to be portrayed? Because in the moment I felt like Jennifer, which is the character's name. I didn't want that in the film just because this is a full-length feature film story that I'm writing, but her name is Jennifer. So I kind of really got into like who she is and how I would want to be portrayed. How I want it to look, the different shots, stuff like that. The close-ups of the Google screen are my favorites.
Her name is Jennifer Lynn. She was just born at the hospital.
That's my dad's voice. Shout out, Dad. It took me forever to get a voicemail that I actually liked from him. This is actually from a trailer of this exact story that I made a while ago, but I didn't really like it, so I kind of, waited to redo it. But that's his voice, so shout out, Dad.
And now she's gone.
Once again, one of those I'm holding the camera shot type situations, the close-up of my glasses. I knew I wanted, when I was searching on the computer, a close-up of my eyes, like right here, really, really tight shot. But I wanted you to see the light from my computer on my glasses, because I think shots like that are insanely cool. So what I did is I turned the brightness all the way up on my computer. I was absolutely blinded because I had to do this multiple times. I literally held the camera up to my face and just moved my eyes around like this, as if I'm like searching on a screen trying to find information, then you only see 5 seconds, if that, of the whole entire shot that I got. And a lot of it, my eyes were moving way too fast, and it was a mess. It is always the people you least expect. So, the part where I type "Who am I?" it was a really weird experience for me because, like I said, the more that I shot this throughout the day, I started at around 10 o'clock, and it was like midnight before I, was actually like really done, made sure I had all the shots that I needed, because you'll see there's some shots where I'm outside in the dark. I started to really become this character. It was really weird because I guess this story is so close to me that I kind of let my emotions that I feel like the character would be feeling root what I would search on Google. So none of that was planned. So the part where I typed "Who am I?" was more me in the moment feeling like I'm Jennifer and I'm questioning all these things and just like, who am I? So that wasn't planned, but it actually turned out to be one of the favorite questions that I typed into Google in the film, because I think it just helps it come completely full circle. Also the shot where I'm like in the chair with my, curled up in a ball, that wasn't planned either. That wasn't in my shot list. Things just kind of started happening, and I really did become this character in an odd sense. And I give props to actors so much because I had a little glimpse of what that's like to become the character. What they say. These car shots, literally from the Film Gods. I don't know how I pulled this off. If you are in film school, make films or anything, never to film at night. Like, unless it's a night scene and you're gonna have professional lighting, never film at night, because everything is always gonna turn out grainy. It's just not a good idea unless you have the proper lighting. I did not, because I have like literally a ring light. I really need to upgrade my lighting, but it is what it is. So what I did is I turned the lights on in the car, and that was really it. I mean, there was a light on outside, that's why you can kind of see the ring white of my car at the top of the windshield, but that was it. And so I sat my camera on the hood of the car and I was like, there's no way this is gonna work. There's gonna either be a glare or I'm gonna be completely washed out. It's just not happening. Somehow, by the grace of the Film Gods, I pulled this off. But sometimes the only person you can trust is yourself. And it just, this one shot where I have a slash over my face. I want to say it was intentional, it was not. I mean, once I set my camera up and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get my whole face, I kind of just made it work. But this shot is probably on my list of top 5 favorite shots in this film, because the lighting is golden right in the middle of my sweater. It has this kind of like beam going down. There's a slash in my face, and I just think this shot works so well. Because at this point, got lucky. There's nothing but lies between us. My personality is... Alright, so the whole sequence of the matchbox, me playing with fire, striking it, that whole thing, the lighting, if anybody can appreciate anything in this film, please appreciate the lighting in this part, because the blue on the right, the warm tones with the shadow on the left, and my cream sweater with the warm light hitting me in the back, the light from the fire is lighting my face, which is what I wanted. It was so important to me that this is how it looked, and this is what my end result would look like. And I'm so proud that it translated into the film, because a lot of the times you have ideas up here as a filmmaker, but then they translate and they're a little bit differently, but they still work. But this is exactly how I wanted it. It took me so long, I can't even explain it, but one of my favorites. This is my favorite part of the get 3 strikes, in and out. I mean, the color tones are split so perfectly. Hair's still a mess, never even noticed it. And then I blow out the match. It's my favorite. But yeah, you see some of the footage of the matchbox that I didn't use. use in the title sequence or the end credit sequences. And you can kind of see in one of these, actually, I had a plant in the background, because this is a technique that I learned on set this past semester. We had a huge area kit, and we lit up this house that we were using to film at. And there was this one shot where they were walking in the door, the characters in our film, and they wanted some type of, not Venetian blinds, but just something to give it a little like nice shadowy effect, and just have like some certain light splashes certain areas, and just kind of give it a texturized look. That's the word I'm looking for. So that's what I wanted with the lighting. And so I couldn't find a plant. So if you see there's like this stringy plant that I tried to rig up in front of a giant flashlight that we have, because I started running out of light sources, and you kind of see that. But once I did the rest of it, I kind of did away with the weird plant lighting. It is inspired by a true story. I don't own the rights to the music. And it is to be continued, because whether I continue to make this a series, or I just push this short film / trailer, because to me it really is a trailer. This story is nowhere near being done, and I'm not done telling it, because as I've mentioned, I have scripts that I am currently writing with different storylines from this one main story. So whether it's to be continued that I, make a connecting episode, or I do turn it into some sort of episodic thing that I post on my social media and try to push the story that way, I don't know, because it's such a passion project of mine. That I don't want to give too much of the story away. I really do want to protect it until the right opportunity comes. So thank you for watching. Go watch my short film, What Lies Between Us. And spam Netflix, spam Simpson Street, Kerry Washington's production company, spam HBO Max, spam everybody, because this is going to be on big screens one day. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Peace.